Australia is and has been the land of opportunity, hasn't it? At least for the most part. But when fire or drought or even a pandemic strikes, well, we can lose our houses, our businesses, our livelihoods, and all of a sudden that sense of security we once had is just ripped out from underneath us. And we can't help but wonder, what will happen if we lose all our money? In Luke chapter 12, Jesus teaches us that at the end of the day, wealth won't make our lives secure. You see, he told us about a story of a rich man whose land produced a huge harvest. Now this man, he had it all. In fact, he had so much, he had to tear down his old barns just to make bigger barns, big enough to store all the land's produce. Now that's a problem I reckon you and I wouldn't mind having. So this man in the story, he gets to work, and when he's done, he says this to himself. He says, "You have plenty of grain laid up for many years. Take life easy, eat, drink, and be merry." But there was a problem. This man thought he had life sorted, but he was actually in deep danger. As soon as those words left his mouth, God had something to say in return. We read about it in verse 20. God said to him, "You fool, this very night your life will be demanded from you." You see, in the end, this man was so short-sighted, he forgot the reality of death. And that is something that calls us all, isn't it? Whether it's fire or drought or pandemic, the grave consumes us all. Jesus calls each of us to look beyond the false hope of money. The truth is that Jesus offers a hope far greater than what this world could ever offer. And it's times like these we're tempted to agree. Here in Australia, we love the idea of growing a business. We love expanding our investment portfolios. We love the idea of renovating our homes and giving our kids everything they could ever want. We even tend to think like that rich guy. We tend to think that we'll work hard now and in the end we'll take it easy. Now maybe you're not as rich as the person next door, but the truth is we're one of the richest countries in the world, and the richer we get, the more God is sidelined and forgotten about. But remember that in the end, God calls this man a fool. And Jesus warns that you and me can be the same. He says in verse 21, "This is how it will be with whoever stores up things for themselves, but is not rich toward God." Let me finish with just two questions. What is it that you've been living for up until now? And what will God say to you when you face him? If you turn to Jesus and you put your trust in him, you can have a tremendously secure hope that lasts this life and way into eternity.